Hello everyone, warm welcome to Testbook Super Coaching. My name is Madhav Sir. I welcome you all in a very important session that is on finance current affairs. As you know, in the RBI examination and many other regulatory body exams, and for that reason even the bank exams, majority current affair questions are going to be asked from the finance itself. So we at Testbook Super Coaching YouTube channel, we have started with an initiative, and the initiative is we will be covering all the important current affairs on weekly basis. Now the question is how we are going to cover them, what is going to be the entire procedure. So from Monday onwards, that is from Monday to Saturday, we are conducting sessions, regular sessions, and these sessions are live at 6 p.m. and in these live 6 p.m. sessions we are covering the current affairs. We are covering the current affairs, and that too in weekly manner, and that too for all the different subjects. I would like to discuss with you all what kind of coverage you are going to get. Sir, we are providing you with the current affairs, which include on Monday we have the PIB analysis, that is the weekly update from PIB at 6 p.m. Then on Tuesday, that is today, we have weekly finance updates. On Wednesday, we have RBI updates, then government schemes. On Thursday, ESI current affairs. On Friday and on Saturday, you have the important reports and indices. Remember one thing very clearly, guys, if you are preparing for regulatory body exams, these weekly sessions are going to be really very important for your upcoming 2024 examination and for 2025 as well. So let's begin the discussion. So today in this session we are going to discuss the finance based current affairs which are going to help you in RBI Grade B examination as well as SEBI, SEBI and many other regulatory body exams. I hope I'm audible, visible, everything is fine. We are good to go. Are we good to go? Just reply in the comment section so that we can start the discussion without any further delay. So today I have many important news for you all, but before I begin, if you want to download the PDF of this session, then the PDF of this session will be available on my Telegram channel, and I will be sharing the link of my Telegram channel for sure. But I have a very important thing to start with. Whenever we start our preparation, we must keep one thing in mind. If you want to win, you can never think of quitting. For example, if you have started preparing for an examination, unfortunately you were not able to do pretty well in phase 1 2024 RBI Grade B examination, then don't worry. Let's hold tight, let's prepare really very well so that we can clear this examination in the very next attempt. So remember, winners never quit and quitters never win. This is a very important statement which obviously I follow a lot, and I would request you too to follow so that you can win in the end. Okay, so let's begin the discussion. Here we go with the first question, but if you want to download the PDF of this session, this PDF will be available on my Telegram channel, which is Economics by Madhav Sir, and my handle is @Madhav Sir. You can search me by my handle name and you can download the PDF of this session after completion. So let's begin our discussion with the first news of the day, and the first news is related to recently conducted GST Council meeting. So what is this meeting all about? What is GST Council? Why this meeting is conducted? We will be discussing all the updates in this session itself. So the first point is, the news is 54th meeting of the GST Council has been conducted recently. I hope you all are very well aware. GST stands for Goods and Service Tax, and GST was implemented in India on 1st of July 2017. In order to make the changes, for your matter of understanding, if I say GST rates are revised and even the items under different slabs are also revised regularly. Who takes the decision which item to be included under which slab? So those decisions are taken by GST Council. So before I discuss what initiatives, what all announcements have been done in the recent GST Council meeting, before that let's talk about what is GST Council, and then I'll come back to the news. So if I talk about goods and service tax, the goods and service tax came into effect on 1st of July 2017. It was 102nd constitutional amendment bill, but when the amendment was done, it was 101st amendment. Remember that the bill was passed by both the houses in 2016 and it was implemented from 1st July 2017. So first it was approved by the center, that is at the parliament level, and then approval was taken from the state assemblies, and once more than 50% state assemblies they have approved it, then GST was implemented. And remember the date, that is 1st July 2017. If someone asks you that, sir, GST was implemented in India on 1st July 2017, my answer will be yes. Sir, I hope my voice is clear. Okay, thank you Atul for confirming that my voice is clear. Okay, so Anjula, please check on your level better. There may be some issue on your level. I come back to the point. So my question is, on 1st July 2017, GST was implemented in the entire country. But can you name a state in which GST was not implemented on 1st July, rather it was implemented later on? There was a gap of almost a week in implementation of GST. Can you find out the name of that state? Do let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, in the end of this news, I'll give you the answer. Now, moving on to the next point. The next point is, what is a GST council? If I say what is a GST council, then my answer to this particular question is, GST council is basically a forum where center as well as the states, they come together and they collectively take the decision regarding the operations as well as implementations of GST in the economy. Remember that GST council was set up by President of India under the Article 279 of the constitutional amendment, where the rights have been given to the center and state collectively to take the decisions regarding the GST. Now, how this looks like, sir, if I talk about the GST council, it comprises of finance minister, we have union finance minister, as well as we have minister of state of finance, union minister of state of finance. So these two, they represent the center, and then we have one member or one nominated minister by every state as a part of the GST council. Remember that 1/3 of the total voting rights is given. 1/3 of the total voting rights is given to the center, and 2/3 of the total voting rights collectively given to the state representatives. If I show you what I'm talking about, if I'm talking about the members, then I would say the members of council include union minister, that is the finance minister, as well as the union minister of state at the center level. So they represents the center, and each state they can nominate a minister in charge of finance or taxation or any other minister as a member. So generally states, they will nominate their finance minister, or they may nominate any other minister. No one is going to stop them. So at the time of decision making, decision can be taken on majority, and in order to achieve that majority, so that majority is not 51%, the majority is 75% in order to pass a particular decision or in order to implement a particular decision. So center government alone cannot pass any decision. State governments alone, they cannot pass any decision without the approval from center, because center has 1/3 voting and state has 2/3 of the total voting rights. Now, the next point is, if I talk about the functions, so this GST council, as stated under the Article 279, is responsible to make recommendations to the union as well as state government related to the important aspects of GST, which include subjected or exempted GST, that means which all goods should be included, which all goods should be exempted, what kind of taxes need to be charged, how GST input is given or how GST input is taken, and how GST input is then paid back to the public. All those decisions are taken under the GST council. Remember that the GST slabs, I'm talking about the slab 1, we have 0%, We cannot say it is a slab. We can say that all those goods which all are exempted from GST, they are charged with 0% GST. But the slabs we have, that is 12%. Then we have 5%, 12%, 18%, and we have the slab that is 28%. So these are the 4 GST slabs, and items are categorized under different slabs, and which all items are going to be included under which all rate, that will be decided by the GST Council itself. Now, the question is, what is the news all about? If I talk about the current news, so certain changes have been done or certain recommendations have been given to the government regarding the GST implementation. I have taken only those important recommendations which can be asked in the examination. So the first recommendation is recently given, is related to goods. So in terms of goods, if I talk about namkeens, in case of namkeens, the GST has been reduced from 18% to 12%, 18% to 12% at par with the namkeen mixture and all, and GST will be 5% for unfried. So remember that GST on the fried namkeens is going to be 12%, and GST on the unfried namkeen and unfried, I would say, snacks, it will be 5%. So 12 and 5%. What is the change? So earlier it was 18, but now on the fried items it has been reduced to 12%. First. Second recommendation which has been done, very important question can be asked, sir, the cancer drugs. So GST rate on the cancer drugs which have been mentioned on the screen, GST has been reduced from 12 to 5%. No need to memorize the name of these drugs. No one is going to ask you the name of these medicines, but they can ask you a question. As per the latest GST Council meeting and recommendations, what is the new GST rate on the cancer drugs? Then what will be your answers? And the new GST rates on the cancer drugs is going to be 5%, which were earlier 12%. Now this is very important. The term is reverse charge mechanism. What is it? Reverse charge mechanism. So reverse charge mechanism is need to be introduced to supply of metal scrap by an unregistered person to a registered person. For example, I am selling metal scrap and I am unregistered. I am unregistered means, let's say I am a rag picker. If I am a rag picker, I have collected metal and I am selling that metal scrap to a company or to a firm or to a registered organization. So I am unregistered. Unregistered means I have no TAN number, I have no PAN number, nothing. If I have nothing, then the GST which is need to be charged on the registered person by me will not be charged, because I am not in an authority to give you a bill with GST, because I don't have GST number. In that case, government says that we will apply reverse charge mechanism, which means that if you are a buyer and you are a registered buyer, then you will be paying the GST directly to the government if you are making the purchase from the unregistered person. If you are making the purchase from the unregistered person, this is very important. So what is reverse charge mechanism? So reverse charge mechanism basically means a mechanism in which if you are purchasing goods, and that too from a person which is unregistered or from a organization which is unregistered, in that particular case, you will be responsible or you will be liable to pay the GST directly to the government, because no GST has been charged on you by the seller, as seller is unregistered. Second point is, TDS of 2% will be applicable on the supply of metal scrap by a registered person in business to business supply. So if it is a business to business supply, in case of business to business supply, there will be tax deducted at source. And what value of tax will be deducted? So tax deducted at source is going to be 2% when there is a supply of metal scrap by a registered person in case of business to business transfer or sale. Next is roof mounted package unit. So air conditioning systems which are basically used in railways, now they will be attracting a GST rate of 28%. Very important point. GST rate on car seats now will be 28%. Earlier, on the motorcycle seats, or I would say the two-wheeler seats, earlier the GST which was charged was 28%, but on the car seats, it was what, sir? It was 12%. But now in order to, oh sorry, it was 28%. Now in order to maintain parity, in order to achieve the parity, it has been increased, and now it has been also increased to 28%. So car seats as well as motorcycle seats will attract same value of GST, that is going to be 28%. After goods, we have the next point, that is services. So in case of services, very important point has been introduced. The point is related to your insurance services. Please read out the point which is mentioned on the screen. What does it mean? What does it say? GST Council recommended to constitute a group of ministers which is going to holistically look into the issues on GST on life insurance and health insurance. So what is the issue all about? So the issue is, whenever the companies, they are offering life insurance or they are offering the health insurance, at the time of offering the health insurance, the GST which is charged, how it is going to be collected and what manner it is going to be collected, there are certain recommendations required, for which recently the announcement has been made that don't worry, we will set up a committee of group of ministers who is going to take the final decision how the charges are going to be charged. Next point is, in case of transportation, so transport of passenger by helicopters, it will continue to attract 18%. There was a news that if you are transporting or as a passenger, if you are commuting through helicopter, then the GST charge will be 12%. No, it has been declined, that no change will be done. It will continue to be 18% as per the latest announcement. This is very important. Flying training courses. So flying training courses which are going on in the country, on the flying training courses, no GST will be charged. For example, guys, whenever you purchase a service, for example, you have enrolled yourself in a Testbook course. The moment you enroll yourself in a Testbook course, you pay a fees, and that fees attract GST as well. But if you are enrolling in the flying training courses, then on that GST is going to be 0%, or flying training courses are going to be exempted from GST. This point is very important. It has a potential that it can be asked in the examination in order to push, in order to increase, in order to develop, as well as in order to expand the flying training industry in India. This step has been taken where no GST will be charged on your flying training courses. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear? So if I give you a quick revision, what all changes have been done? So first one, if you talk about fried namkeen, GST will be 12%, which was earlier 18%. Unfried, it will be 5%. Secondly, GST has decreased from 12 to 5% on cancer drugs. Then GST has increased from 18 to 28% on car seats, and now on car seats as well as motorcycle seats, same GST will be charged, that is 28%. Coming to the services, if I talk about the services, in case of services for life insurance, okay, I hope now it's fine. So we were discussing regarding the GST wala part. So as we have discussed till now, that there will be 12% GST on fried namkeen and 5% on unfried namkeens. Second is from 18% now, the GST on car seats is going to be 28%, same as that of motorcycle seats, and then from 12%, 5% GST has been fixed for your cancer drugs. And in case of services, it has been mentioned that in case of flying training courses, GST will be excluded. That means no GST will be charged. Secondly, for life insurance and health insurance, Government of Ministers Committee is going to be set up. And in case of helicopter ride, or I would say if you are transporting through helicopter as a passenger, then 18% of GST will be charged. There is no change as per the latest update. Fine. Now, moving on to the second news. The second news says India-Japan dialogue held in Tokyo. So recently India-Japan dialogue has been held, but this was not the first dialogue. This is the second dialogue which has been held. And if I talk about this particular dialogue, then who participated in this dialogue, that is really very important. Please pay attention on the screen. If I talk about the participation, sir, Mr. Atsushi Mimura, the Vice Minister of Finance for International Affairs, Japan, and Mr. Ajay Seth, Secretary, Department of Economic Affairs, Minister of Finance, has joined this particular dialogue. So remember these two names. These two names are really very important. First is Vice Minister of Finance for International Affairs. The name is Mr. Atsushi Mimura. And from India, Mr. Ajay Seth, who is he? Sir, he is the Secretary, Department of Economic Affairs of Ministry of Finance. So obviously they have discussed about the bilateral, I would say, relationship and how to improve the economic relationship between the two countries, and they have agreed to meet again or to continue the next round of dialogue, and the next round of dialogue will be held in New Delhi. So if someone asks you, very simple direct question will be asked from this particular topic. The question is, recently second Tokyo Delhi or second Tokyo India Japan dialogue was organized in which city? Answer is Tokyo, Japan. And if the question is asked that next round will be taken up in which city, then the answer will be, it will be in India, that will be in New Delhi. Moving on to the third news. The third news talks about the celebration of 18th Foundation Day of IEPFA. So for you, 18th Foundation Day is important, but more important is the term that is IEPFA. Now the question is, what is IEPFA? Then my answer would be, so IEPFA stands for Investor Education Protection Fund. Investor Education Protection Fund. So on 7th September 2016, Investor Education Protection Fund was established, and as the name suggests, it was established in order to educate the investors and protect their fund under the Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority under the provision of Companies Act 2013. So recently it has completed its 8th foundation year, or its 8th foundation day was celebrated on 7th of September 2016. The authority is basically responsible for the administration of Investor Education Protection Fund. So who manages the Investor Education Protection Fund? So it is managed by the Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority, which is responsible to make refunds of the shares, unclaimed dividend, mature deposits, debentures, etc. So all the investor related issues, their education and the protection of their fund is done under this particular authority, which has been set up under the Companies Act 2013. Moving on to the next point. The next point is, sir, on this Foundation Day, what was the theme of this particular event? Sir, the Foundation Day theme was empowering investors, financial literacy as the key to combat fraud and digital scams. So remember that if someone asks you, what was the theme of Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority Foundation Day conference, then answer will be empowering investors. Financial literacy is basically the key to combat fraud and digital scams in the current scenario. Remember the theme, that is important. Nothing else is important from this particular news, you can ignore. Moving on to the next point. The next point is recently, I don't know how many of you are aware, but GIGA, G-I-G-A, this term is in news, but I'm not sure you must have heard it. But yes, you must have heard about gig workers. What are gig workers, guys? Anyone can give me the answer in the comment section. What do you understand by the word gig workers? Then I'll give you the answer that HDFC Bank launches GIGA, that is the financial services for India's gig workforce. But the question over here is, what are gig workers? Anyone out there in the class who are watching me live can give me the answer. What is the meaning of gig workers? What is the meaning of gig workers? What will be your answer? So gig workers basically a person who are involved in a temporary or freelance work. That means he or she is not a regular employee with an employer. He is a freelancer. He works as per the project or task is assigned to him. Let's say today he got an assignment from Infosys. Tomorrow or after a week he may get an assignment from TCS. He is working openly. A freelancer who is not a fixed worker, who is not a regular worker, is known as gig worker. And these days in India, gig working or gig workforce is increasing at a high rate. It is increasing at a high rate. So HDFC has introduced GIGA, which is a new suite of financial products and services which is specially designed for gig workers and freelancers in India. So what is important? The point is, what is GIGA? So it is basically a new suite of financial products which include credit cards, saving accounts, current account, debit cards, many more, specifically for the gig workers in order to tap, I would say in order to tap the untapped market till now of 30 to 50 million individuals who are currently working as gig workers or gig workforce in the country. So if someone asks you, recently SDFC has launched what type of professional suite has been launched by HDFC for the gig workers, your answer will be GIGA, and it is basically targeting the gig workers and the freelancers. What is the count of freelancers in India? Obviously, it's an estimate data that is of 30 to 50 million workers can be categorized as gig workers in the country. So they will be getting the benefit accordingly. They have flexible saving account option. They have given Giga business credit cards. Along with that, they have offered health insurance and specialized retail asset products specifically for the gig workers. Specifically for the gig workers. Is it clear? So remember this point. This is important. Moving on to the next news. The next news is, see, we know that LIC, Life Insurance Corporation, is one of the, it is the largest, obviously, it is the largest life insurance company in the country. And I can say that it is the oldest life insurance company, not in terms of its origin, because it was constituted by merging n number of companies together. But yes, it has a good base in the country. But if you check out the LIC application, the way they onboard the customers, the way they provide digital services to their customer is somehow outdated in comparison to the recent and the latest digital services and the digital interaction provided to the customers by the other insurance companies. So in order to overcome this gap, as well as introduce the touch of AI, which is nowadays everywhere, LIC has decided to tie up with Infosys, and now Infosys is going to update the entire digital platform of LIC in order to increase or in order to make the digital journey of a LIC customer more efficient, better, and that too with a new experience of AI added. So what is the answer to my question? The question is, so recently LIC has tied up with which company? So recently LIC has tied up with Infosys in order to develop next generation digital platform. And this next generation digital platform is a part of DIVE. What is DIVE? So it is an initiative, it is a program which has been started by LIC, which stands for Digital Innovation and Value Enhancement. So in order to increase the digital platform engagement and to increase the customer satisfaction while using the digital platform of LIC and give them a new and a modern touch of AI, LIC has recently tied up with Infosys. Earlier, the digital platform of LIC was managed by TCS and Tech Mahindra, but now they will be, I would say TCS and Tech Mahindra will be overtaken by Infosys. And this tie-up which has been done between the two companies, it is done for what amount? That amount is not yet specified, and we are not even, I would say, in a scenario to find out the amount, because it will add a burden on us. We have to remember that value as well going forward. So we can ignore that. It's a positive point for us. But remember, now LIC will be developing the digital platform for Infosys will be developing the digital platform for LIC, and they will be replacing TCS and Tech Mahindra, which were earlier doing the same. Got it? Remember that. Along with that, remember, LIC is not only the largest life insurance company in the country, it is one of the largest profit-making insurance company as well. In the financial year 2024-25, in the first quarter, LIC has reported 9.61 increase in its net profit, and it has reached to 10,000 crore rupees, where the premium has also increased over the period of time. So LIC share has been increasing over the period of time because of its better performance in the past. So you can remember this data, and you can use this data for your future reference if there is any descriptive questions related to insurance sector or LIC. That is it. Moving on to the next. The next news is, you know that if you're using the UPI transactions, you can transfer funds up to 1 lakh. Now you can even transfer the funds up to 5 lakhs. And recently there has been an update that 5 lakh rupees can be transferred using UPI. 5 lakh rupees can be transferred using UPI. That means you can scan the code and you can pay up to 5 lakh rupees. There are few conditions where you are going to enjoy this service. First is, you are going to enjoy the services at the time of medical expense, as well as at the time of paying tax, and at the time of purchasing the securities. So this initiative has been taken by the government, where NPCI has increased the transaction limit for tax payment using UPI by allowing the people to send 5 lakh in a single transaction. Now, if you're paying your tax, you can pay up to 5 lakh rupees per transaction or in a single transaction, which was earlier up to 1 lakh. Now you can easily enjoy the service of UPI while making the tax payments, and you can pay up to 5 lakh rupees per transaction using UPI, which include not only tax payments, it include hospital and educational services. Even if you're purchasing government securities as well as IPOs, you can make per transaction of value what? That is 5 lakh rupees. I hope you all know NPCI, it is National Payment Corporation of India. It was an initiative taken by RBI and the Indian Banks Association, which was founded back in 2008 under the Payment and Settlement System Act 2007. You can say that it is the umbrella organization which is looking after all the retail transactions which are happening in the country. NPCI is responsible for managing, if I start one by one, then I would say NPCI is responsible for UPI. NPCI is responsible for n number of other operations, which include Aadhaar enabled payment services, even which include mobile payment services, which include services like national mobility cards. All these services are under, even IMPS is under NPCI. These are the services provided by the same. And what is UPI? And it is well-known service to everyone today. UPI is Unified Payment Interface, where you can pay anyone without knowing his or her account number, bank details, that is bank name. No account number is required, no IFS code is required. You can directly transfer the funds with the help of mobile number or their UPI ID, which we call it as virtual payment address. Okay, now moving on to the last news of the day. Union Bank of India has become the first major bank to join PCAF. What is this PCAF? Partnership for Carbon Accounting Financials. See, bank, they provide loan, and the borrowers, they use that borrowed amount for their own purpose. Now let's suppose a customer approaches a bank to borrow a loan, and he will be using that loan in order to set up a factory, and that factory is going to produce pollution. So it is the bank's duty that bank should look after that how their lending, how their finances is impacting the environment. So when the banks, they check out that how their lending is impacting the environment, that entire arrangement falls under this category, that is Partnership for Carbon Accounting Financial. So PCAF, it's not India's, it is global initiative. where financial institutes, they collaborate to develop a standardized methods so that they can assess and disclose greenhouse gas emission linked to their loans and investments. So whatever loan they are providing, whatever investments they are doing, what that investment or loan is going to give to the environment in terms of greenhouse gases, when you assess that, when you calculate that, when you disclose that, that is an initiative under PCAF, and Union Bank of India is India's first major bank to become the part of this particular initiative. Moving on to the last part, that is new appointment has been done. Adani Energy Group has recently appointed new CFO, but he is not the new employee of Adani. He has been promoted, and now Adani Energy Group has announced the appointment of Saurabh Shah as its Chief Financial Officer from 1st October 2024. Right now, he is the Deputy Chief Financial Officer, and now he will be operating as a Chief Financial Officer after the resignation of Funsuk Vangyal. Now you don't say Funsuk Wangdu, it's Funsuk Vangyal, and must check it. Is he the same of Three Idiots or is he different? You check it out. Okay. So this is the answer, that Saurabh Shah is going to be the new CFO of Adani Green Energy. This is a very important update. The update is on tax evasion. How many of you are aware of this term tax evasion? Tax evasion basically means the process in which public, or I would say for that matter entities, they intentionally avoid paying taxes. जब हम जानबूझकर टैक्स पे नहीं करते, अब या तो आप इसे कहें कि आपने टैक्स की चोरी की, या आप ये कह सकते हैं कि बिकॉज ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज you find out the loopholes in the government policies and you try to avoid pay taxes. That is basically known as tax evasion. And in case of GST, tax evasion is a regular trend which has been witnessed in the past. So recently, as per the latest report, it says that highest tax evasion in India is recorded by the gaming industry, and second highest is recorded surprisingly by banking and financial services and insurance companies. So remember that this is very important. Recently, it has been announced that the highest GST evasion has been witnessed in case of online gaming industry, which is on the first rank, and on the second rank we have BFSI, that is banking, financial services and insurance sector, which has witnessed, और हम ये कह सकते हैं कि GST की चोरी सबसे ज्यादा की थी किसने? गेमिंग इंडस्ट्री ने, और सेकंड रैंक पे किसने की है? बैंकिंग, फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर एंड इंश्योरेंस सेक्टर ने. सो रिमेंबर दीज टू, दे आर इंपॉर्टेंट. आफ्टर दैट वी हैव आयरन, कॉपर, स्क्रैप. They are not much important. First two are important. Gaming on the first and BFSI on the second. They have tried their level best and they have been recorded into the category of highest GST tax evasion. Got it, guys? So we have started all the important and beautiful news for your upcoming examination. Obviously, my purpose is to give you the overview of the news, but by just looking in this news in a video, you won't be able to memorize it. You need to revise it again and again, and you can download the PDF from my Telegram channel, which is Economics by Madhav Arora. Handle is @Madhav Arora, and you can just type @Madhav Arora on Telegram and you can join my Telegram channel to download this PDF. If you want to clear your RBI examination 2025 in very first attempt, use the code MADHAV, MADHAV, and in order to use this code, you can enjoy maximum discount on Lakshya batch, which is live on our platform. So thank you so much for joining, guys. We'll catch you in next 10-12 minutes, I guess. Yes, in next 15 minutes, where we will be discussing MCQs based on finance for RBI Grade B 2024 Phase 2. RBI Grade B 2024 Phase 2. So at 7 p.m. I will be joining with you again on the same YouTube channel where we are going to cover the MCQs based on this. So I hope you must have enjoyed the session. We'll hope to see your presence in my upcoming live sessions as well. And thank you so much for joining. We'll catch you soon. Bye bye. Take care. Good luck and God bless you all. Thank you so much for joining, guys. We'll catch you soon. Bye.